here we're going to look at question 19 from section 2 of the BMAT 2018 paper. So in this question we're given the following circuit, which is a battery with potential difference 6 volts, and it's connected in series to these two resistors. This one is a 10 ohm resistor and this one is a variable resistor which goes from 2 ohms all the way up to 20 ohms. So what the question asks us is to find the difference between the smallest and largest possible currents, the currents through the circuit that is. So if you'd like to have a go at this question yourself, then just please pause the video now, otherwise let's have a go at it together. Okay, so to look at a circuits question, there's one rule which we pretty much always need to try and include, and that is going to be Ohm's law. So before I've even really thought about what the question actually is, this is something which I bear in mind because it almost always comes in useful. Now if you think about what the question is actually asking us, it's asking us to find the difference between the currents, so we need to find the smallest and largest currents really. So how could we find the currents in this circuit? We could just use Ohm's law, couldn't we? We could rearrange it just so that the current is going to be equal to the voltage through the circuit divided by the total resistance of the circuit. So we know that the voltage across the circuit is just the voltage of the battery, or 6 volts. It's going to be spread across these two resistors proportionally. And the total resistance we can find just because we have our two resistors here. So when we have two series resistors, to find the total resistance, we're just going to add these up. And then, since this goes from 2 ohms up to 20 ohms, you'd think that either end of this range is probably going to give us our largest and smallest currents. So with this in mind, then we can go ahead and try and find our smallest and largest currents. Now, as I just said, so to think about our smallest current, it's going to be equal to the voltage across our circuit divided by the total resistance, so our 10 ohms plus one of the ends of our ranges. So which is it? Is it going to be 2 ohms or 20 ohms to give us our smallest current? Well, hopefully you're saying 20 ohms. And therefore, for the largest, it's just going to be the other end of the spectrum, 6 volts over 10 ohms plus 2 ohms. So hopefully with this as well, you can see that if we were to pick somewhere in between these two ranges, like 10 ohms for example, then this would just give us a current in between these two. These are obviously going to be the two extremes that the current can go. So all we have to do now is just simplify this. So this is just going to become 6 over a total of 30 ohms, which of course is just 0.2 amps. And then our largest current is just going to be 6 divided by 12, or 0.5 amps. So we can just use these two numbers to try and find the difference between them, which is obviously going to be 0.3 amps, which is our final answer and corresponds to answer B given in the question.